My name is Noluthando, also known as the Advocate of Self-Love. This is the Beaumovation podcast where beauty meets motivation. As I introduced our topic last week, the fire within to pursue your success. We are still on that topic, and this is episode 2. As usual, I have an amazing guest. She is an avid businesswoman. Her name is Lihle Nqini. Lihle Nqini is a dynamic leader in the South African luxury fashion industry. And I'm really sure if you are into fashion, if you are into beautiful things, if you are into style, you definitely know her. But after this episode, you are going to know her even much better. She is the managing director for MaXhosa Africa, and she's been in this role since 2015. Her journey with the brand began even before officially joining, as she contributed to the events, exhibitions, and fashion shows for MaXhosa Africa. But over time, she quickly became a key driver of the company's growth, right? That's what we are all about on the Beaumovation podcast, growth, cultivating your success, listening and pursuing that fire within. And beyond her role in the company, beyond her role in the business world, she is passionate about community building. She is involved in a number of initiatives. You know what? Let me introduce her, Lihle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nolu, for inviting me.
For being here. Welcome to the Beaumovation podcast.
Thank you so much.
Looking stunning, as expected. Lihle, we are exploring the topic, the fire within, to pursue your success. And this is very much linked to, desire, hunger to make it. Can you please just take us to where your journey started with MaXhosa Africa, where it started for you as a person?
So my journey started before the brand was actually in the limelight. I think for me personally, this is year 2010, like Duma was starting the business, the brand, and I was a PR student. And I was doing my BTech at the time. And we were told to do an assignment where blogs were super, super big at the time. It was before the actual social medias.
Yes.
So I had to do a blog, and I said, I actually want to do a blog about my brother, because I feel that whatever he's going to do, the vision is much bigger than it will ever be. So I did a blog about him and how he has started the brand, because I've seen him starting the brand at home. Yes. I've seen him working hard to make sure that he succeeds. So that is when I started in MaXhosa. So the next 5 years, then whenever he would be doing events, I'll be part of it, fashion shows. I actually traveled to Miami even before I actually worked for MaXhosa. But in 2015, actually in April, I'll be 10 years, officially 10 years.
Yes.
So in 2015, I decided, let me quit my job because I can see the vision. At the time, he was the only person working. So I was a second person and my brother was a third person. Our sister joined the fourth person.
Yes.
So that is when everything now started officially, like signing the contract, but the work had already started prior to that.
That is incredible. That is absolutely amazing. And because the topic is really around the fire, the urge, the drive, the hunger within, have you always been that person that was very much set on doing things? I mean, before you got super involved with the organization, you're already pursuing your BTech?
Yes. For me, when I see a vision working, I never doubt it. External factors might doubt it, but when I know it's going to work, it is going to work.
Yes.
So when I was pursuing my BTech, I also lived in Port Elizabeth at the time, which had a very small PR market. Unlike when you're here in Johannesburg, there are so many agencies. So I remember in PE, there was just only one person that they called the PR guru, Michelle Brown, and she still is the guru in PE. And at the time, there was only one PR agency, advertising agency, which was called Boomtown. So it was very painful for us PR students and communication students to say, when we're done, we want to join an agency, there's only one available in PE.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, where am I going to work? I need to think beyond Port Elizabeth.
Yes.
But at the time, I honestly didn't think I'll be in the fashion industry, because I always say I'm not creative.
Yeah.
However, I've been stopped by people to say, let me stop saying I'm not creative. I'm not creating new craft or fashion or anything beautiful, but I've got a creative mind. I am able to see what you've created and how do we move on to that.
I I love the fact that as you're telling me your journey, I'm noticing that you don't let anything stop you.
No.
You've got no fear. And that is truly, really one of the main reasons we have the Bumovation podcast. So that whether you're a gent or you're a female, if you can think of something, because I'm sensing you think it and then you do it. Where does that come from?
Definitely our mom. We had a very strong-willed mom who was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So I think when we were young, every time our mom used to introduce us, she would always say, "This is my daughter," and she'll always introduce herself as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And at the age of 5, 7, 8, 9, you don't even know what that means because we also grew up in environments that almost everybody is working at a certain job. But then there's this word called entrepreneur, and that you don't even know what it means. But I remember my mom at some point explaining it to us and trying to make us write it because she said, if you are an entrepreneur in your life, you never have to say good morning to a white person in your life.
I love that. If you're an entrepreneur, you never have to say good morning.
Good morning to anyone else because you are the beautiful morning. So she manifested that in us. She was very fierce, strong-willed, and very, very compassionate about making sure our lives are enriched. As much as she was a single parent and much as she left us early in life, she had done all of her work.
Well, that is incredible. I'm touched by that because you speak of her in the past tense, which means she's late.
Yes.
And I can totally relate because my own mom is late. And I'm always trying to also teach my audience that so many times we actually think that just because I do not come from a wealthy family by material or an astute family, whatever the case may be, and I've lost a parent, I may not have a legacy. And I remember the first time. So let me tell you guys at home, the first time I met Lihle, it was at a conference. Shout out to Nomdeni. It was the Agenda Women Conference. Attend conferences to network. If I did not go to that conference, I would not have met Lihle. Networking is very important. And I recall she was on stage sharing her journey with obviously her brother and the company, the organization, you know. And I was so moved almost to tears because I recall you saying that the journey started, no, it was actually your brother before you came onto the stage where he shared that it started with him going with your mom, with your late mom, to actually shop, right?
Yes.
And then from there, that's where the inspiration comes from. That is legacy. How have you managed, as Lihle, to translate all of that from your mom to this? Because you've translated it very well.
So we actually call our mom the founder of MaXhosa Africa.
Yes.
Because she's the one who instilled the values within us that we are able to start something big. As you recall in the story that my brother shared, he said that they went to go buy a television. So we were one of those households with no television. We had to go next door to a friend to go watch Generations.
Yes.
So, and then she said, let's go buy a TV at Salvation Army, a second-hand TV. But when she got there, she saw this knitting machine and she obviously changed her mind. So a backstory about my mom, she was a knitwear designer back in the 80s. She had her own studios, but she didn't succeed because that was during the time of apartheid. She also got married, she had us, and then that dream of her never fully materialized as she wished it be. But throughout the years, as a single parent who was unemployed, but I don't want to say unemployed because she was an entrepreneur. She was there making sure that she provides for us. She made sure that we go to good schools. She made sure that she instills the values that will sustain us forever.
Yes.
And that is how we have managed to be here today. We are here because we know that we don't have a backup plan. Not having a backup plan means that if you don't want to wake up in the morning
to say good morning,
then you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So my mom left us, actually 10 days after I turned 12.
Oh, wow.
So, and the next year, she left us in December. The next year, I was going to high school.
Yes.
So I started my high school journey without having a mom. So it was a very, very confusing 5 years of my life because now we were in a child-headed household.
Yes.
It was all of 4 of our siblings, and with steps, one is born immediately after the other.
Yes.
So when I was in grade 8, all of us were in high school.
Wow.
And I would tell you that no one woke the other up because we all knew that
it's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up.
Yeah.
It's time to go to school.
Yes.
And our mom used to tell us, without education, you cannot succeed in life. As much as she pushed entrepreneurship, she also pushed education, because as the more knowledge you have, the more you are able to upskill your skills and those around you, that then you can succeed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I would like to make a connection between the Lihle, who now finds herself without her mother in a child-headed home, and things are obviously not rosy because, as you mentioned, at some point you were that family that did not even have a television, right?
Yeah.
So that's that Lihle to present-day Lihle.
Yeah.
If you were to look and really assess the characteristics and the mindset, what is it that got you from this to this?
Discipline. I don't have another word to describe it. It's discipline. You saying I must take that Lihle.
Yes.
That Lihle, like I said, no one will wake you up.
Yes.
Was very disciplined, dedicated to my schoolwork, as much as, because I was a teenager at the end of the day, I did some stuff.
Of course.
However, I knew after groove or whatever we've done, I need to go back to my schoolwork. I knew that I needed to succeed. Like, I don't have a backup plan. There's no other way.
Yes.
So that Lihle, as compared to this one, this Lihle now thinks of the people that we work with. If I feel, if as a managing director, then if I flop, I'm flopping so many other people, almost 300 other people. So the character has always been there. It's called discipline.
Yes.
I am, if I'm set to do anything in the next week, I write it down. I've got a whole to-do list. I make sure that I do things on time and I do things way ahead time, so we can always stay and keep the legacy that we are trying to create.
Trying.
Yes.
I absolutely appreciate the modesty. I appreciate the modesty. Now, in terms of, the vision that you had, you mentioned that you could see what your brother was doing.
Yes.
And so many times we do have that amongst our friends, families, people that we know. What made you take action? Because there are so many people that start something and they do have family, they do have friends, right? I mean, I think of Jack Ma's story, the owner and the founder of Alibaba, which is now this multi-billion platform. And if my memory serves me well, when he started, he invited 21 friends and was left with only one, right? So you were that one, I guess at that time, perhaps for your brother, correct me if I'm wrong. What was it, Lihle, that made you say, no, man, there's something here?
I trust my instincts. I'm an energy person.
Yes, yes.
For me, my energy says a whole lot.
Yes.
If something doesn't feel right, it's definitely not right for me.
Yes.
And my siblings also like telling me that, oh, Jesus, you were right about that situation, that person, because I'm big on energy. And I believe that Christ doesn't put us in situations that we cannot move forward from. So when I made the decision, I was working in PE. I had a permanent job. Also, I didn't see growth in that job. And I think as well that when I resigned, just before I resigned, I started like supporting the brand, going to Cape Town, during designing while I still had a permanent job. And then when I came back, my friends are telling me there are rumors that I'm leaving the company and what is Lihle thinking, leaving the company to go start something that is not there. So for me, that was like, I'm not in the right place at this moment and I have to leave.
Yes.
So then I actually came back in late February, March, and late February. I think the day after I put on my resignation and I was out.
How did you handle the fear? Because so many people, they've got that. This vision, I have it. But then fear is like, where you going?
I didn't have fear. Do you know why?
I love it.
Because there are certain things in life that you always have to look at before you make any decision. If you're a parent, I wasn't a parent at that time. So I was just thinking about
yourself,
myself. Each of all our siblings, everyone was thinking of themselves. So I didn't have a child. I had a home.
Yes.
I didn't have to think about rent.
Okay. Yes.
I still live at a home. And to say that I'm going to work, my brother's going to pay me.
Yes.
I'll be able to buy food. I don't need much more. I don't need so much.
Yes.
So that decision, I only said to him, whatever you pay me, I just need one thing, medical aid.
Oh, that was so responsible of you.
Medical aid, because I had like health issues during that time. So for me, my only risk is not being able to pay my medical aid at the time.
Yes.
Anything else around me just did not matter.
Yes.
So there was not fear at all.
At all.
Yeah.
I love that. So now you're here. You're in the MaXhosa headquarters.
Yeah.
In your mind, what is Lihle going to outpour to this organization, to this place? And the reason I'm asking this question is that so many times we doubt ourselves. That, okay, it's already standing, it's working. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
Let me check back to not the headquarters, because it didn't start as,
of course,
as rosy as it
as
is.
it is.
So I quit my job, and we had a studio in a street called Havelock Street in Central NPE.
Yes.
It's a very small studio, about 30 square meters, where we had a couple of our pieces that we were selling, and we had just opened the online store at the time. This was 2015. Nothing was rosy. We worked, and at the time I was doing sales. My title, I think, was I don't even remember my title. Something communications manager.
Yeah.
Handling any media that's coming, and to think that I'm in PE, it's very difficult to say when they want to shoot today, they need an item. I can't just get it that very same day.
Yes.
So I was handling all of those inquiries. But at the time, there were only 3 people working for the brand. But so there was nothing that could make me fear anything. We then came to Johannesburg, which is now still 2015 November. Actually, Laduma 2 weeks prior, he called me and said, hey, we need to move to Johannesburg. And I said, why? Because at the time he was living in London.
Okay.
I said to him, why? And he says, we're going to open up a shop in 2 weeks. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
What are we doing?
Johannesburg?
Yeah.
You know how Johannesburg always has the stigma
of course, being cutthroat and toxic.
And toxic.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I was like, okay, let's pack. We're going to Johannesburg. We took a bus to Johannesburg.
Oh, bye.
14 hours we took into Cape, and we came to Johannesburg. We got into an empty space, and now I needed to open up a shop. So this is why I say let's check back, because it hadn't started now.
Yes.
Whenever have I opened up a shop in my life?
In your life.
So now I need to do more research. Where do I get reels? I don't know anything about Johannesburg. I had only been Johannesburg once prior, but it was like 2 minutes visit.
Yes.
So I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So at that moment, that's when the question started. What am I, Lihle, going to do that will be an impact to the future?
Yes.
So now we then opened up New Town. We moved to Commissioner Street in town, and now we were at the headquarters that we are at right now. My title throughout the years have changed. I've been a salesperson. I used to work the store to selling MaXhosa every day.
Yes.
I've been in communications. I've been whatever I needed to be.
Morphing and changing.
Yes. And then I got the title of general manager. But one thing about me, I don't like titles. I don't gel with titles. I believe on doing the work.
Yes.
So, but only last year, and then I got the title of managing director, which also now came with a fear. I'm human at the end of the day. There are fears that will always come through.
Yeah.
But I asked myself one day, nothing as much has changed. It's the same team. It's the same place. It's just the title that have changed.
Yes.
So the title is what made me fear more than the work that I know that I do.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm not a title person. In your introduction, you said, you gotta know me. No, nobody knows me. I love being a backup singer. I always say I'm a backup singer.
Yes.
I prefer doing the work in the background.
Yes.
Those who want to be in the limelight, they can obviously do that. For a long time, Noluthando, I've even declined such requests and said, oh no, Laduma can go do it.
I'm so blessed.
I'm like, no, let him where you at. There's a podcast. So that has been my role for a very long time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much from you as I'm actually listening, and I love the fact that you're just so outpouring with your answers and your responses. Was there ever a moment where what you are today, what you've acquired today in any area of your life, where you ever thought, nah, I won't make it? And because we all have, especially as people that have that fire, right? In line with the topic, the fire within to pursue your success. Sometimes that fire is just not there. Or sometimes that fire is, you can't locate it. And you think of this amazing, beautiful vision that you have, and you just, for example, with me, I just cry. I'm like, okay, it's not happening. Have you ever had those moments?
I do have a lot. Remember, I'm human.
Yes.
You said any area of my life. I had Lihle, the one who was very career, always at work, and then I had a Lihle that became a wife to someone.
Yes.
And then now I became a mom of 2 kids now.
Yes.
So my life is like in a very short space of time, I will say evolving, and so much is happening. And I feel like I'm being pulled in so many directions.
Yes.
But also, I've also got my own visions as a person. I think not even last year, December, I said, I'm a vision board type of person. Let me do a vision board event.
Yes.
And I had almost 20 people, and I wanted to keep it small and quite intimate. I know the people who attended have been asking me, when am I doing the next one? And I was honest with them, and I said, I'm not in a very good space to plan such, to be motivating others while I am feeling unmotivated myself. So when I'm ready, I will come to you.
Yes.
So there are times when you feel like I'm defeated. As like you, I cry when I'm in private.
Yes.
I cry. I'm a very emotional person.
Same.
Small things get to my heart.
Right?
Like people, when someone hurts me, like when someone I thought I trust betrays me, I cry. Like I'm a cry. I'm such an emotional person. If my child is crying, I could also cry.
I get it completely.
Yeah. So, but fears are always gonna be there, but it's how you overcome. Those fears.
You just accept that right now I'm scared. Right now I'm not okay.
Or right now it might not work now, but it doesn't mean that the vision should be cut off completely.
Tomorrow is still a day.
Yes.
Tomorrow is still a day.
Always.
We are mature enough to know that with great success comes great congratulations, cheers, and also envy.
Yes.
And I'm not expecting you to obviously give details, but I think, and even just looking online, you know, people are realizing that life is not as rosy as we always thought it was. The people that sometimes you come with from way back suddenly switch up on you. They change.
Yeah.
You, yourself, your brother, your family, the team, you've done something amazing. We keep seeing it evolve. We will get there. We are still aspiring, you know, budget-wise, but we know it's beautiful. There's envy, I'm sure. There's pull him down, pull her down. How do you protect yourself from such?
Sure. Do not listen to the noise that's outside.
Right?
If you are able to sleep at night knowing that you didn't harm or hurt another person, you're doing just fine. Because there'll always be noise.
Yes.
You'll always go online, something beautiful is posted, but there's negativity right there next to it.
Yes.
I don't want to lie. We laugh it off.
That's so great, honestly.
We actually share whatever noise we see. Oh, have you heard? Ah, man, we laugh it off.
Yeah.
Because when God ordains you to a certain position, that's where you are supposed to be. Whatever the devil or whoever says, that is their opinion. We're all entitled to have opinions. We're all humans at the end of the day.
Yes.
But the plans that you have and the plans that God has will always push you forward.
I love that. Now, there's also another aspect which comes in when you're doing great. I could say copycatting, duplication.
Yeah.
And for me, in my small space, it sometimes affects me. How do you handle that? Whether as a person or as the organization, how do you handle knowing that this person is literally taking what's ours?
Okay. For me personally, I don't want to speak on behalf of the brand.
Yes.
As I said, I studied PR, and there's a saying that says there's no bad PR.
Yes.
So you always have 2 ways to look at something. Let's say there's a counterfeit of what I'm wearing.
Yes.
Then there's noise about it. It's trying to stop people from doing that.
Yeah.
Now you are marketing the brand without us being part of it. That's one way to look at it. And the other way to look at it is that how do we make it stop? Because at the end of the day, it has it at the moment, but it will have some financial impact to our brand at some point.
Yes.
So how do we now stop that? And then that's where we then sit down to say, okay, here's our future plans. People on the outside may not see the work that we're doing, but we are trying to
obviously
make things stop.
There must be a great lot of work and effort for the brand to really become what it has become.
Correct.
The growth, the global growth.
Yeah.
We are seeing it. New York, Sandton.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be at the forefront?
Because we're so busy,
right?
You even forget to feel.
Yes.
I don't know how, if I'm making sense.
It's just, yeah.
We opened up a store last year in June, New York. Then immediately after that, while we're in New York, we're working on the Sandton store. While that is happening, we're working on Paris Fashion Week. While that is happening, we are working on so many great things all at once that we don't have a moment to feel.
Yeah.
And we've had these conversations that we should actually pat ourselves in the back because we do so much.
Yes.
But we just forget to feel. Yeah.
And I'm asking
it feels good though.
I love that. The reason I'm asking is because I'm very inquisitive about how people think online. So I would see maybe, let's say, people commenting on someone's post, whether it's their favorite influencer, favorite brand, favorite. And they're like, oh, I wonder, how does it feel? And that's why I wanted to ask, how does it feel? Because someone wants to know at home, how does it feel to be part of such groundbreaking work?
It feels great, but and most of the time, like I said, we don't have a moment to feel.
Yes.
And it's only when people like yourselves then congratulate us and then we're like, wait a minute, we actually did good there. Yeah, but it's a beautiful journey that it feels like a movie, but it's real life.
It's real life.
Yes.
Let's take it to you sustaining yourself, being in the right mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
Because Beaumovation is beauty, coupled with motivation. How do you pour into yourself? What do you do?
Yeah. I don't want to lie. Lately,
Don't lie.
It's been my kids.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but seeing my kids being as naughty and as inquisitive like they are poured so much into me. I've always wanted to be a parent. I think everybody who knows me always known that.
Yes.
At some point, I became 30 years old and I didn't have a child. And I said, God,
what's going on?
You can punish anybody, but not me.
Oh, wow.
But then God, at the age of 31, I got my first son. And then Lihle, the last one when I was 33. So how do I pour into myself? I go to spas, I read.
Yes.
I disconnect from people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people can be very, very,
of course, that energy.
Exhausting.
Yes.
That energy. Disconnect from people, stay in my zone, and I'm good.
How do you hear from yourself, Lihle? Because you strike me, as we are talking, as you're sharing, you strike me as an individual that listens to themselves first. You hear from yourself first. You deliberate with yourself. You then conclude with yourself.
Yes.
And for someone who does it easy, you may think, oh, everyone can do it. But then I engage my audience and they're like, I don't even know what I'm thinking. I don't even know who I am. So how do you hear from yourself?
I ask myself so many questions. I interrogate myself.
Yes.
And for sure, the answer will always be within me.
Yes.
And I love listening to podcasts. I don't want to lie. I'm a podcast girly, and lately now, I listen to them in the car as well.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
I love listening to podcasts, and I ask myself so many questions before I make a decision. And also, I am not stubborn to a point that whatever anyone says, they're wrong, I'm right.
Yes.
I think I am able to have some sort of listening skill that may also affect with what I'm saying to myself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That makes absolute sense. I completely get it. I hope you got it at home. Deliberate, assess, interact with yourself, because you are you. There is you. Like it all starts with you. It all ends with you. From your perspective, looking on the outside in, if I may, how do you think the work that you've done as Lihle and also as the organization has managed to connect with the people in the way that it has? Because for me also, being an aspirer, looking from the outside in, I'm like, you've done an amazing job at just connecting with people.
First of all, we fulfill the need.
Yes.
A need is to look beautiful.
Of course. Of course.
No one in the world wants to look ugly. Everybody in the world wants to look beautiful.
Yes.
So that was the need we fulfilled in South Africa.
Yes.
We spoke to that need of beauty.
Yes.
And then once we then accomplished that need, then we needed to make the brand human. And then while making that brand human, we then said this human must have ubuntu.
Yes.
That is how
I
we
felt that.
connect. So we strive to say, at the end of the day, we are people from South Africa.
Yes.
And continent that has so much ubuntu.
Yes.
Because we travel the world. So we go to Europe, so you go to the US.
Yes.
Nothing
compares.
Ubuntu. Like
Yes.
they don't have, people don't greet, people don't see each other as a person to start a conversation with you in a bus, you in a train. So we said we're an African continent.
Yes.
Everybody knows any African home,
Yes.
if you come in, even if they don't know who you are, they'll offer you water.
Of course. Something.
Other continents you'll stand by the door and tell them what you're there for. So that they can turn you back if they don't know what you want.
Wow.
So we then personalized the brand and they said our biggest pillar as a brand is to have ubuntu. So that at the end of the day, we should never be unreachable. There is a reach that does not make sense, but there's a reach that we need to be within our people. I think that is also why we are striving to be in every province of South Africa,
Yes.
so that we are accessible. Yes, you can purchase online. You can find the brand when you travel, but let us come to you.
Let us come to you. Did you get that? Let us come to you. Be creative. Connect. For those young entrepreneurs that are starting their businesses, that are doing their thing, understand that it's all about your customer. It's all about how you access and reach your customers.
Yes.
And I always say to you at home, if you don't take in all of this for yourself, I'll take it. I will take it, because it is absolutely incredible to really hear it from the mind of the genius, from the mind of the person that is behind it all. Someone at home is sitting thinking, or even a person that's always looked at you, say from your socials, right? Oh, she has it together. We've got that. I personally, in fact, I'm getting much better now. But I used to have that thing of you'd look at someone on social media and like, oh, she's got it all figured out. She's beautiful. Life must be so nice. I mean, look at this, traveling all over the world, right? And then they look at their life and for some people, it really gets down. It gets so bad that depression kicks in.
Yeah.
You're on that phone, you're looking, and you just start crying the whole time.
And you're thinking Noluthando has it all.
Yes, right? You think she's got it all figured out. So for someone who's looking at your life and they've got that perception, and it's not even your job to give them assurance. It's not your job. But because we are nice people on the Bumovation podcast, we want to just give them that bit of a nudge.
Even today,
Yes.
I said to myself, oh, kodwa bawo, kuningi and ngiyi-one.
Yes.
One, I'm a firm believer, do not ever look like your problems. I would never.
Thank you.
I would never. I've had times where I'm so down and out. 1 second, the next second, I'm, hi, how are you? Because I'll have time in my private space to outpour my feelings.
And look like a hobo.
I look like a hobo. So for me, do not ever envy people's lives. Not everyone has it put together.
Yes.
And my biggest quote is, I don't know if someone has said it before, life does not have a formula. It's okay. It's okay for us to go through stress. It's okay for us to go through depression, but
Yes.
snap out of it. It's okay for us to be hurt because we are humans. And on Instagram, forget it that I'm going to post myself ugly.
Forget it, right?
Forget it. Even I've actually posted in my darkest days my most beautiful picture.
Yes. Because that's your coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you've shared that, because I've moved perceptions, right? My perceptions keep on growing and changing, right? There was a time where I thought, okay, life on Instagram, everyone's perfect, everyone's having a great life. Then I moved to, I guess it was my envy stage, where I was like, don't even worry about it. They're most probably having a hard time, right? Even though they'll be posting this and this, they're having a hard time. Then I evolved to, in fact, whatever it is a person posts, they have the right.
Yes.
They don't even have the right. I mean, they don't even owe you their problems. Because you'll see that you have this community or audience where as soon as you post about your problems and how dark your life is, now it's like, oh, actually, great, wonderful. You're also suffering. And I'm now at a stage where people don't owe you their problems.
No,
and I'm
never.
happy that you shared that on your darkest days, you've posted one of your most beautiful pictures, because that was your way.
That is my way of coping. And also, we are a generation of wanting to be validated on social media. I don't have time for that. I go pay a therapist.
Yes.
I go to therapy. I go to therapy to tell the therapy my problems. And sometimes they say the most meanest things, but they are true.
You're right.
I have someone to talk to. So I don't get consumed about social media.
Yes.
So we were having a conversation amongst ourselves and colleagues, and we were telling someone what personality they have on social media.
Yes.
And it came to me, and they told me that I'm big on mommy content.
Right.
And I've seen if I do a mommy content, the engagement is high. And I love it because it's my favorite thing in the world.
You.
That is me in my core. Because I'll post something, 6 months later, someone will come back with that, which means it stayed within them that I'm a mother and this is the route that I take. I'll post my content. I'm a big follower of Chimamanda.
Yes.
Her books. I love Sarah Jakes. I love church.
Yes.
And they joked and said, that's your personality. But there's a personality of you they don't know. How strict I can be, and I will not fold.
I love strict girls. High five. I love strict girls. Strict girls worldwide.
So and I said, that personality is just for you in the workspace. Because now that personality at home with my husband is different.
Yes.
That personality with my kids,
completely
it's completely different.
Yes.
So love me. So on social media, you'll see me posting my kids, my husband, what I like, funny things. Also, I post things that are quite random, and people will say, "Oh my gosh, how did you even think of that?" Because I do have a very funny and playful side of me, strict girly, but have a very big personality of having good time.
Before we wrap up, what value does strict girly give you? Because sometimes people are like, you're just unnecessarily strict. And I'm like, it just makes things happen. What value do you get from being strict and being a strict girl?
It gives you tick boxes of what have I achieved and what do I need to do to do more. I love being a strict girly.
Yes.
There's a quote by Chimamanda.
Sure.
It says, do not be nice. But be kind, because kindness is a measure of humanity. And I said, okay, I'm not nice, and being kind has made me human.
Yes.
Because I'm human and I have humanity.
Yes.
But now being nice to be liked will definitely not take me anywhere.
Not your play area.
Not my play area. And it's not something because I have young ladies working in my workspace. I've always been like this. Working into a new workspace, 21 years old, knowing for sure that I don't have to be nice to be liked. If I do the work, then I will then
Let
be
the work
praised.
speak for itself.
Let the work speak for itself.
You've heard it from our guest. please note, if you are, not if, I know if you're watching this, you are part of the Bumovation community, there's also one common theme. I will not look like my problems. I really hope that you get that it does not matter. And I've always shared this, that the world does not care. To think that because you've got a million problems, you must look like a million problems, it's not going to help you in any way. And you've also heard it from Lihle again. We said it in season 1. We are saying it again in season 2. Do not look like your problems. There's no value. You're not going to get praised. There's no tombstone that was ever written, here lies someone that looked like their problems. Get up and go. You'll cry on the way. You'll meet Noluthando. She's going to give you a hug. Life goes on. I hope you caught that. Lihle, any words, final words, to those that are part of your community, to those that look at you as a role model, to those that do not even know you, and today or this episode will be the first time, any words of encouragement or anything?
Oh, so much pressure.
You live under pressure, so I'm sure this would be just smooth sailing.
I think it's something that I've said previously as well. Life has got no formula. Life, whatever turns the direction you were not expecting, accept it, see how you move forward with it. They always say, if they throw lemons at you, make lemonade. Always be positive. I've had so many dark days, but I smile. There's no ways I'm not gonna smile or laugh because I am destined to be a happy human.
I love that.
Not happy, actually, a joyful.
A joyful.
Because happiness is limited.
Yes.
And then joyfulness is eternity.
Vast. True. Thank you so much, Lihle. Absolutely love this conversation, and I know that if you're at home, you enjoyed it. This is Lihle Nqini, and she is exactly as I expected her to be. Thank you for outpouring yourself.
Thank you.
So many lessons, so many principles, and I hope to you at home who is out there, not sure of their path, not sure of who you are, not even, with the courage to propel yourself. Take it from us, the fire within to pursue your success. Sometimes you don't even need to know, you don't even need to have the resources, but follow that fire inside of you that says, start the business, take up the course, go to the gym, love your children, right? Life really consists of many things, but for them to actually be in motion is all dependent on you taking action. Sometimes the action is just you getting up and taking a 30 minutes walk. Sometimes the action is just you going to get a magazine or borrowing a magazine just so you can draw inspiration. Action is energy in motion. Do it, do it, do it. And also subscribe to this channel so that your mom, your dad, your sister, anybody can know that you are part of the Bumovation podcast, but also tell you that ex of yours to subscribe so they can be a better person. Lihle, we often have a gift for our guests, but we are still sorting out a couple of things. We promise that if you allow us, we will ensure that your gift follows you. And we have to, because I've said it on camera. It's a promise we're going to keep because it will be...
I refer back to this moment.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Thank you for imparting your life journey. Like I said, you truly will not know how much of an impact these conversations actually have, because so many people need that encouragement. So many people need to know that someone grew up in a home that did not have a television set. And I'm here with all these beautiful things and I feel like I'm not capable, but Lihle said that she did it, they did it, and I'm going to do it. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Noluthando.
See you in the next episode. This is Bumovation, where beauty meets motivation.